And good morning, everyone. Welcome to this day. It is a Friday and a nice day outside. I'll tell you about the weather in just a moment. Now, on our show today, Richard Palmer is here from the Tea Party Sentinels. They have an upcoming meeting, and it's not until, what is it, the 27th, but he's on early because he's going to be away for a little time, so he wanted to get on early enough to tell you all about that. United update, Gary Morrison stopped by, and he sat down with Lisa, and Gary talked to her about the financials going on in United, and also he's just kind of some of the other projects and stuff that are happening right now, and also about the upcoming elections and the main budget meeting that comes up in I think about just a couple weeks. Sterling Financial, Dan Ohlweiler, we got a segment with Dan, and also the Bluebirds in the Village. I had a really nice time a while back taking kind of a tour and learning all about the Bluebirds, and it's quite fascinating. Now, as far as meetings go today, well, there's only one. It's actually not a meeting. It's a docent tour. If you're watching us in the morning, it's about 9 o'clock today, and you need to email docent@vmsinc.org. This is the United New Resident Orientation, and they give a tour there. And if you can't make it today, they do these a couple times a month, so they're always available to you. Now let's get to the weather. The good news is we got some little bit milder weather over the next few days, but then the bad news, the heat is back on as we get to Monday of next week. So the next few days are going to feel real nice. Right about average. Average this time of the year is 85, 87, upper 80s or so, and that's what it's going to be, as you can see. But then moving forward, you can also see that we go up once again, looking at Monday, Tuesday, and into next week. At least the first 3 days, we should be in the low 90s. Once again, a little bit of hazy, a little bit of onshore clouds over the next few days, which again is very nice. But then the heat comes back on. Let's take a look around the state this weekend, and beautiful in many areas, but also smoky in many areas as well. So around the state, we're going to see the coast is very nice, as you can see. I want to really point out to you Yosemite here, and as I put down here, Yosemite is closed right now. They just announced that all roads into Yosemite are closed, and the valley is closed. Now, there is the fire around the Mariposa area. That's what's causing this. But in many areas, for instance, the valley, it's all about the smoke. So that's why they announced today, at least what I heard, the way they announced it on the news, all roads into Yosemite are closed right now. And I think that's really the valley, Glacier Point, that area. I think if you go up to the areas around Tioga Pass and all, I think that's open. But all the other roads from mid-Yosemite on southward are completely shut down right now. So, you know, if you got plans, you have plans going up there, please check on that and see, you know, when it might be open or when other arrangements can be made. But looking around, sunny just about everywhere else. And the Bay Area, 75, beautiful up there. Central Coast, 88. San Diego, 92. You can see locally here, nice up in Arrowhead. And Tahoe as well. And Palm Springs is holding steady. About 113 degrees their average for the weekend. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Brian Rott, President and CEO of Cartmart here in Laguna Woods. My family's been in the golf cart business since 1959, and we win our customers over with the simple belief of we treat you right. We are proud to be the authorized dealer for Club Car here in Orange County and your go-to source for the sales and service to other major brands. We're conveniently located on El Toro Road, just minutes from Laguna Woods. So come by and see for yourself, while when doing business with Cartmart, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
Are you considering cremation? Pacific Cremation Society offers simple and affordable cremation plans. Why do families choose us? Simple and affordable, discounted membership pricing, chartered memorials at sea, expert service and compassionate care, free advanced planning guide and consultation. Call now for your free planning guide.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Thomas. Sports Talk. Come join me here every Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. for sports news, highlights, and interviews for all of Laguna Woods and around the world. Put it on your calendar. It's a great way to start your day with me and the Sports Talk way.
Dick Palmer is here today, and of course he heads the Tea Party Sentinels here in the village. Coming up at the end of this month, there will be their meeting, and their guest will be William Sinclair. I first want to say hi to you. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Great to have you on. And we're going to talk about that upcoming meeting and about your guest, who I seem to recall he's been a speaker for you folks a few times. Am I right? He has kind of a background in finance and dealing in trade and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
am I right?
As a matter of fact, he was chairman and CEO of Washington Bancorp. It's a $30 billion holding company, and he had a lot of other companies he worked for, all banks and investment companies and stuff. So he's really well versed in finance.
Yeah, so he's somebody who can really kind of talk on the ins and outs about all this.
So we're going to have a whiteboard where he can actually write down what's going on so people can really see instead of just hearing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really an exciting.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting insight of somebody who knows, kind of knows this firsthand, and how trade works and how the political arena is. And
well, he spent I don't know how many years in Washington D.C. as a naval officer because of his financial background. So, I mean, he just has a lot of experience, and it's just amazing that he's so close to us and available. I was really thrilled that he was able to accept our invitation.
Yeah, that'll be a nice guest. And as I said, he's been with you a few times. I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so dynamic. I mean, it's always a thrill to have him come because he has so much information, and I guess a lot of people are in his emeritus program. I don't know if he's still doing it, but I think he was at
was he?
Sylvester Center.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people attended his class. I never have. I don't have the time, but But anyway, I mean, he has a huge crowd following him because he just, talks extremely positive.
Yeah, very well versed in all this. So that's coming up. I want to mention, even though you're on a little bit early here, on August 27th. It's
That's
your regular date. Or time in the month, I really should say, because the date varies.
Right.
And at the usual place at Clubhouse 7.
Right.
Yeah. And as far as some of the other guests coming up, do you kind of schedule those, some of them in advance?
No, I have to do it as each month goes by because people, their schedules don't allow it.
I know, yeah.
But I'm looking forward. We're having John Morlock.
Oh, sure, of course.
In October, I think.
Yeah.
That's one advance that I made a long time ago. He couldn't make it because he's always in session. So that should be another real interesting thing. He's a real dynamo up there. So anyways.
He's very good. So on this meeting, of course, as usual, people go and William Sinclair will give a talk and then, of course, open for questions.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now, just as a side issue.
Yeah.
On the 23rd at Clubhouse 7, we're having another political meeting.
Oh, okay.
We're having Stephen Bailey, he's running for Attorney General. And Mark Muser, who's running for Secretary of State.
Okay.
And I'm having trouble with this one. Next one is pronouncing his name. It's Konstantinos Rada.
Let's see. I don't know if I can do it. Where's the name here? Konstantinos Rodis. Yeah.
Yeah.
So will this be an additional meeting, or is this with the Republican Club, or what is this?
No, it's independent.
Just an independent meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was hoping that John Cox would be there, but the last minute he changed because he's going to be speaking on the 29th in Mission Viejo, which is a much larger city.
Yeah.
So, I think he was smart enough to realize this is a small community.
Yeah, okay, but that'll be on the 23rd.
Yeah, no, that's on this meeting with the 3 people running for office on the 23rd.
And then your regular meeting the 27th.
Right, and then on the 29th, that's where we're having John Cox at Mission Viejo.
Okay, all right. So in that 1 week there's going to be quite a lot.
Yeah, so we're going to be sending out notices.
Okay.
So people are aware of what's going on. I didn't want to inundate people with so many dates they get confused.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll make sure to mention that.
Yeah.
Very good. Now on this one, again, people can get there at 6:30. Club opens, the meeting starts at 7. And as usual, I know you have some refreshments there and things like that. So good meeting, good speaker.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled.
All right. Well, I know you got to run to a meeting.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for coming on today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
No,
so
I think I filled.
So the Tea Party meeting is the 27th, and then we'll remind you about the other 2 as we get closer to those dates.
Thank you very much.
All right. Always good to see you.
Yeah,
Take care,
you.
my friend. We'll be back. Hey Laguna Woods, it's Ken.
And Lisa.
Did you miss an episode of This Day? Not to worry. Head over to youtube.com and search Village Television.
Here you can find each episode of This Day and other community programs such as Good Day OC, Discovering Laguna Woods, and much more.
Just click the red subscribe button, then click the bell to be emailed every time we upload a video.
Don't miss out.
And subscribe today.
If you asked me what I wanted to be when I was a child, I would have told you a princess or an astronaut, maybe even a chef. But things change. I may not have become a princess, but I found someone who treated me like one. I may not have become an astronaut, but I still got to see the world. I may not have become a chef, but you would never leave my house hungry. The Emeritus Institute has kept my love of learning alive. Every day is a new adventure, and the Emeritus classes have made it possible to keep living out my dreams. Sign up today and begin your life's next adventure.
Welcome back. Well, it's our United Update time, and we have Gary Morrison here who's going to give us a financial report and also talk a little bit about budget. Well, welcome. It's nice to have you.
Thank you.
So this is some serious stuff.
Well, it's boring stuff.
But somebody's got to do it.
That's true.
So thank you for the update. Go ahead.
All right. Let's start with our financials. All right, the total revenue for United through June the 30th, 2018 was $20,336,000 compared to expenses of $20,245,000, resulting in a net revenue of $91,000. Slide 2, please. Through June, United Mutual was better than budget by $350,000, primarily due to employee compensation related and due to vacant positions in maintenance. Staff is actively recruiting, trying to fill positions at this time. Materials and supplies, we have a favorable variance due to a different manufacturer of water heaters being used in the community, so it's more cost effective. Building structure replacement, design work in progress for Castilla and La Corona structure repairs. A quantity of reactive building repairs has decreased due to the aggressive prior paint repair program. Landscape revitalization, scope of work has not yet been determined, so not yet started. Pest control fumigation program started in May. and will be completed in November. Slide 3, please. On this pie chart, we show non-assessment revenues received to date of $765,000 by category, starting with our largest revenue generating category, interest income, followed by fees and charges to residents, laundry revenue, miscellaneous revenue, resale processing fees, lease processing fees, and golf cart electrical fees, late fees, revenue, and merchandise sales. Slide 4, please. On this pie chart, we see the expenses to date of $20,245,000, showing our largest categories of expenses are for compensation and property taxes, followed by outside services, utilities, materials, insurance, and the net allocations to the other mutuals. Slide 5, please. The reserve balances on June the 30th, 2018 were $22,962,000. Our contributions and interest to reserves were $6,136,000. Our expenditures were $5,607,000. Okay, next we're going to talk about the delinquency report.
Okay.
And this is through July the 23rd. And our delinquency report is very good. Good. We have gone from 61,314 to 61,044, so we're down at $270. But for 6,000 units, when you're talking $60,000, we're in good shape. Our chargeable services delinquency report went from 71,000 to 60,000. So we're down 10,000 on that. I wanted to also comment on our chargeable services, and we have had a discussion to possibly write off chargeable services that are under $100 and not bring people in for disciplinary hearings because it's costing more than the $100 to go through all that. So I think we're going to be discussing that at our next meeting for United.
Okay.
Our monthly resale report, our number of resales actually are down from 286 to 217, and they're down 69 or 24%. Our sales volume also down 10,406,569, down almost 15%. Our average resale price, however, is up to $282,194 from $249,703, so it's up 13%. So a lot of this is we just don't have the supply to meet the demand, and so things are just not turning over.
Right.
We had a finance committee meeting July the 31st, and in that we voted to record one lien, and we had one notice of sale, and that is before foreclosure. Chargeable services delinquency report, we had one payment plan proposal and one account that we wrote off. And then as I was saying, we're discussing about writing off anything that is under $100.
Okay.
I wanted to talk also, and this is not going to be popular. As of right now, it's going to be increasing the monthlies $10.
Okay.
And a lot of this is going to be because of the funding for waistline remediation. And we're trying to cut it from 12 years to 6 years because last year we had $1.5 million we spent on water intrusion cleanup. So we spent the same amount trying to repair lines as we did cleaning up, so we need to get ahead of that program. So that's one of the reasons that we're having increased monthlies. Our moisture intrusion right now is on track for about 1,200,000 at this point, and which is down from last year, but we need to drastically cut this also. We need, and I figure we're probably going to need about $50 million for supply line or the copper line replacement in the units, which we've kind of put off a little bit till we get the waste lines finished, because we're not having the amount of damage from the copper supply lines as we're having for waste line. So as soon as we get waste lines under control, then we're going to start shifting and going towards the copper supply lines. We also have electric panel replacements, both interior and exterior, which are regulated and we're required to take care of. So again, it's something that is an infrastructure problem and a reason why we're increasing the monthlies. I wanted to talk about the handyman program. Everyone seems very excited and pleased with the handyman program, and at our last finance meeting, I was asking for some figures just to see if we're going in the hole on the program or whether we're able to keep ahead of it, and because the goal is at least to break even on it. And at this point, they're not able to assess it completely, but next month I'll be able to have some figures for you. Something called flood buzz. Flood buzz are units that you put behind your toilets, water heaters, under your sinks, and if there is a water leak detected, it will then ring just like an alarm. So that we're hoping to kind of halt the expenditures of water cleanup. And this has been budgeted now. We're going to be, and I figure it's going to be a minimum of $80,000 this year. And we're going to start the program and start inserting these in everyone's unit in United in order to try to get ahead of all this water cleanup. We had discussed a cost of living increase. It was brought up by one of our members that maybe we ought to do a 2% increase each year. And it was discussed also with GRF and Third, and I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do. However, in my meeting, it was declined and they did not want to do it. And the reason that I feel it's a good thing to do is then if you're increasing a little each year, you don't have these big surprises. So each year, you know, you get a little bit, and hopefully it takes care of everything. Anyway, we're not going to be doing a cost of living increase. And one of the other things involved in that was the new 3% tariffs that have been inflicted by the government. And with washers, dryers, everything metal, our automobiles that we're using, or that we have to buy for United and for GRF, whatever, I think we're going to be under budget for all of this. So again, we're looking at about a $10 a month increase, and that's also a $2 increase for GRF, which we pay them. Gate renovations, GRF Finance had discussed renovations of gatehouses 4, 10, 11, and 12, and so funding has been approved for those gatehouse renovations. an energy consultant, each United, GRF, and Third all threw in $50,000 so that we're going to hire an energy consultant to do a major study to see what we can do in the village to save on electricity, or what we need to do.
Okay.
And I think that's everything I have.
Well, that is a lot. That is a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, the place is an older community, so you have to do all of these fixes, especially those pipes and stuff you were mentioning. That's a lot.
Unfortunately, it's about the same age. Well, it's a little younger than I am.
Give it away.
A little younger than I am, but I know that I'm not being repaired.
Yeah, really, who's going to repair all of us?
Exactly.
And then I just wanted to reiterate that the budget meeting is going to be on August 9th at 1:30.
Correct.
Right, and then we shoot that live.
Yes.
Here, okay.
Yes.
And then Tuesday, August 14th at 9:30 is the regular United
Board meeting.
Right,
Yes.
okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you very
and
much.
everyone's invited.
Oh, everyone can come. So everybody come
So
on over
we
to
hope
United
we
meeting.
see you all.
All right, well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
the update.
Thanks.
And don't forget, you can either attend or you can watch it on Channel 6. That was on the August 9th one. We'll be right back.
Summer is here. Diane's Hallmark has everything you need to make summer cool. From clothing to jewelry to unique one-of-a-kind gifts, Diane's Hallmark is the place to go. Diane's also has a large religious section as well. Come in today to see it all. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Walmart Shopping Center next to Hobby Lobby.
Hi folks, this is Dan O'Weiler with Sterling Financial Advisors. You've seen me from time to time coming in to be on Channel 6 with Ken Goldenberg, and he has interviewed me with various retirement topics over the years, and we've decided to maybe take a little bit different approach in educating you on some things that we think are important in setting up a secure retirement. You might have known that we put on retirement seminars with our company, Sterling Financial Advisors, and we do that from time to time, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. We have people come to our seminars, and we actually have them write down questions in regards to some things that they would like to hear in the seminar and what is of interest to them. Interestingly enough, all of the questions probably fall within 4 or 5 categories. Retirement income, when I should take Social Security, how much money do I need? All those types of things are questions that are commonly asked in the seminars that we take. Well, so we thought we would put together some of these subjects and have me just maybe educate you a little bit, kind of talk to you about what we think is important in those different categories. And so today we're going to be talking about required minimum distributions from retirement plans. There seems to be a lot of confusion as to how you go about taking that. Do you have to in fact take those distributions? So I think we'll talk about required minimum distributions and the guidelines and the laws regarding that. So we'll go ahead and get started. I use a whiteboard, and we'll just kind of talk to you a little bit about the basics of required minimum distributions and how they work. So I'm going to move over here to the board, and so if you can follow me, that will be great. The first thing to know is that at some point the government has told us we have to start taking money out at age 70 and a half. So at age 70 and a half, it's called required minimum distributions. And that means the government says to you, if you have an IRA or a 401k, 403b, 457 plan, any type of retirement plan where we're obligated to take those requirements out, we have to start that at age 70 and a half. Now, somebody has asked, well, when by 70 and a half? Well, it's April 1st of the year following when you turn 70 and a half. So let's assume that here we are on, let's say June 1st, we turn age 70 and a half, okay? That means we have till the following April 1st, before we have to take our first required minimum distributions, okay? So if we have a $300,000 IRA, I'm just taking that as an example. I know some of you have more, some of you might have less, but if you have $300,000 in your IRA account or 401k and you turn age 70 and a half in June, okay, you have till the following April 1st until you have to take your first required minimum distributions. Now, if you wait till April 1st of the following year, then by December 31st, you have to take out another distributions for age 71. So you would have two distributions in that first year if you wait till till April 1st. So tax-wise, tax planning, you may want to consider whether or not it makes sense to wait till April 1st that first year, because you'll have a double distribution that year. But let's assume you have $300,000 in your IRA. You turn age 70 and a half. Okay, how do you go about figuring out what your required distribution is? Well, there's a publication called Publication 590 of the IRS Code. It's a publication that the IRS publishes that talks about distributions from IRA accounts or 401ks or retirement accounts. And they list a schedule there of life expectancies. For age 70 and a half, it is 27.4. So that means next year, when you're age 71, it would be 26.5, and then 25.7, or whatever that factor is. You have to take this factor and divide it into $300,000. So you would take 27.4 divided into $300,000, and that turns out to be $10,950. So that's what your required distribution is for that first year. You would have to take it out by April 1st of the following year. Now, what happens if you don't take it out? Well, there's a problem there. Okay, if you don't take out $10,950, whatever you don't take out is subjected to a 50% penalty, and that's a high penalty. So if we only take out $5,950, we are $5,000 short. That means that you would end up paying 50% penalty on that, which equates to $2,500, okay? And so you would end up having to pay a penalty of $2,500 that very first year if you failed to take out all $10,950 and you were, in this example, short $5,000. So you don't want to forget taking out your required minimum distribution. You always want to make sure that you will do that every year no matter what, because you'll have to pay that penalty, plus you still have to go back and take out that $5,000 that you didn't take, which creates more taxes on your tax form. So you always want to remember, folks, to take out your required minimum distributions. There's really no way to avoid required minimum distributions from our retirement accounts, because the government has allowed us to defer these taxes over a period of time. Many times people will say, well, can't I just pass this on to my kids and avoid that? Well, that would be nice, but the government requires us to take out this because they want the taxes, and they said age 70 and a half is when we have to start taking this out, okay? And so we're going to talk about maybe some options that we have and that can have what we call an exit strategy from these tax-infested accounts, so to speak, how we go about maybe minimizing the amount of taxes we or our heirs have to pay. And so we want to be able to have some kind of exit strategy rather than just sticking our head in the ground thinking that this problem is going to go away, because it never goes away. So we're going to, in the next segment, we'll talk a little bit about maybe some strategies that we use with some of our clients in being able to reduce or eliminate the taxes on these types of tax-infested accounts. So this is Dan Weiler, the retirement professor, wishing you a great day, and we hope you have an enjoyable retirement. Thanks.
Well, you're probably wondering why I'm standing out here in our beautiful golf course and not playing golf. Well, I'm here for a really great reason. I'm with Danny Hansen of the Western Bluebird Club. Did I say that right? Western
Bluebird Club, yeah.
And we're here today to talk about the bluebirds here in Laguna Woods Village. You know, this has been a very hot topic right now, and a lot is going on. The placement of the boxes, and a lot of the boxes are deteriorating. And you're on the forefront of this. You're the one, you're kind of one of the caretakers of all this, right?
Yes, I was asked to coordinate a program that had begun in the mid 1980s. And what we found of the 1,130 bluebird boxes that had been placed in the village since then, that many had become dilapidated, run down. And the biggest problem is the amount of grass that one bluebird family would need to feed at the end of a fledgling cycle. There are 6 babies that are adult size, plus the 2 adults. And what we have here is the demonstration of what one bluebird family requires.
Yeah, that's amazing. I never would have thought that. I thought that all they would need would kind of be like the size of this tea box that we're standing on here. But yeah. I think that's what most people would think. Well, I understand that there's a box just right down the course here. And we're going to take a walk down there and talk more about it when we get there.
Let's go to the pepper tree.
So Danny, we're coming up to one of the bluebird boxes here that are right along the course. And this one's in pretty good shape, from what I understand. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And I understand there's some fledglings inside this box, right?
Yes, these are actually the first fledglings I'm going to look at this year, probably. I haven't opened it up yet, but last week there were eggs in there.
Now, I asked you a little bit earlier, you're just kind of giving me some details. Isn't this disturbing to them for you to open this up and see how many are in there?
Yes, they're very territorial, and they do not like me or squirrels or cats or anything else coming near, and they will dive bomb us probably just to let us know their displeasure.
Watch out for them. Now, since I don't really know the patterns of bluebirds, do they hatch once a year in spring like most people think? Is it twice a year? What is it?
They will have a nest, usually around April, and they will have a 3-week actual period where after they hatch, they will fledge. And they can do this twice or up to 3 times in 1 year.
Okay.
Depending on if you get the box cleaned and ready for them right away, or there's another dead tree or snag for them to go to.
So tell me why this program, whether it's here in the village or throughout Orange County or throughout the nation, why are these bluebird boxes so important? Can't they find places to live on their own?
And that's the perfect question. The problem is simply that bluebirds live in what's called a snag, or a dead tree. A dead tree in California that they're still observing has over 70 species existing, living, eating off of a dead tree. It takes about 20 years to complete the process. They're safer than regular trees because they're not as fire prone. They're actually safer.
Really?
Yes, it's because of you have all of the leafy thin stuff. Have you ever tried to burn a log?
Right.
You have to break it up.
Yeah.
So it's very hard, and we've taken every single dead tree around here out of here, and that leaves no home. So we simply provide a box.
And these are all made out of wood. And I asked you earlier, I noticed that some photos that you had sent me that some of them were painted blue. I think people walking around are expecting to find a blue box, but you prefer them not painted, right?
For weight purposes, plus the cedar's naturally resistant to the moisture, and it's inexpensive. We've got cedar boxes have been around for years. What our club has done is actually adapted the hooking mechanism to make it much simpler, less expensive, easier to operate and do a monitoring, which we'll see soon.
What about the amount of boxes that were here in the village? I know we've seen you talk at some of the meetings that there were something like 1,100 boxes, and we just got through talking about how their habitat to be able to feed their young is much bigger than most people would think, right?
In United, as an example, the area between gates 1, 2, 3, 4, where I've done my study at, there are now 9 boxes that are thriving in that area because of the amount of acreage that's available. There's very little. And what we need to do is, today we just saw a robin as we were walking down here. Robins and other animals and birds that eat off the grass, now they can also, we're not using every space for bluebirds.
So a lot of these boxes, I know many of them deteriorated, but were eliminated. But in a sense, this makes the population of the bluebirds thrive.
Actually, it's gone up. I've more than doubled what the other people in the village have done with their boxes, with a huge percent fewer. They're running 20 boxes, some of them, and only 1 bluebird will be existing in it.
So Danny, how did the community get up to 1,100 boxes, or whatever that high number is, and to the point where, like you were saying, it was probably way too many?
This came out of the Audubon Club, founded in the 80s too by Manny Ackerman, and carried on by Earl Garrison afterwards. They felt it was an ideal environment for the bluebirds, not realizing at the time how much space they actually needed. Some of this information is newer.
Okay.
And I've tried to apply the best practices of bluebirding, and the first practice is location, location, location.
And of course, many of these boxes on their own have deteriorated over the years. I mean, they are made out of wood after all, and whether it's cedar or whatever it might be, naturally they're going to deteriorate, right?
Yes, and that's why we have a person that does exclusively the wood shop, making boxes that we need, but he's not really needed as much as they were, because there's just way too many.
How long will these boxes last? How often do you have to trade them out? Do they need to be cleaned just because of the bluebird season by season?
They get cleaned after every nesting.
Okay.
So that's 2 to 3 times a year I will actually clean them out totally. And replacing the boxes, this is year 3 and we haven't replaced any. The door hooks are the only things that break off, but yeah.
What about, you mentioned that maybe up to 3 times a year they have their hatchlings, their fledglings. Is it the same family, or once they grow up, they all move out?
Actually, it becomes a family affair. The kids will buzz you too, as well as the mom and dad. They hang around near the nest. It's kind of the security for them to have a safe spot from bad weather.
Okay. So Danny, I understand that you folks have developed this kind of special pole to take these down. So tell me the steps. How do you do this? You know, they're several feet up. They're 10, 12 feet up, right?
Usually about 9.5 feet is our reach limit, which we want to be above water sprinklers, and the worst predator of all has been quoted many times is man. And we need to get human intervention out of it as much as we can. The boxes themselves, you'll see the hook. It's a much more demonstration than it is explanation of how simple it works. Dave Southworth, one of the residents in United that was helping out at the time, invented this little arrangement, and it's so cheap, and when you see it you'll go, wow, that's cool.
So these Bluebird boxes, are they based on a national design? In other words, did someone come up with an idea saying this is about how big they are, this is sort of a standard that everyone should follow?
Bluebirds are real specific in the size of opening that they will go to. The woodpecker will start the hole, and when it gets to a certain size, the bluebirds will take over it. And that's how they determined what dead tree they'll go to, depending on the size of the hole.
Okay, what about the other birds? I don't know anything about robins or whatever, but do they nest the same way? Are they going to try and get in there?
Robins are not cavity nesters. They will build a nest actually in the tree.
Okay, you don't have to worry about robins.
Yes.
Anything else? What about blue jays? I understand when you talk about bluebirds, you're not talking about blue jays.
Blue jay, the California jay, I've seen in the mountains, and I haven't seen them around here, but I'm not a blue jay expert for sure. And the bluebirds, there's three types. There's the eastern bluebird and the western bluebird, and you don't see them crossing the Rocky Mountains. And then the mountain bluebird is all blue, and the western bluebird has an orange chest like a robin. That's the three types of bluebirds.
I didn't realize it had an orange chest. So somebody wants to get involved with the Western Bluebird Club. What can they do? What do they need to know? And do you have monthly meetings, weekly meetings?
Right now we're trying to get established to be able to do this. No one has ever had permission to put anything on the common grounds. We've just gotten the first permission after 2.5 years to put these boxes in GRF trees. We're still waiting on United and Third for approval.
Okay, wait a minute though. They've been in trees for years and years and years. They weren't officially allowed, is that it?
No one ever followed protocol.
Okay, so that's something you want to establish. Once protocol is followed, and you basically have a plan that the mutuals and GRF all kind of know about, that kind of makes it easier for everyone to maintain these and keep propagating these bluebirds, right?
It needs a coordinated program, comprehensive, just something that's going to work. This isn't working.
So Danny, this is really great what all you folks are doing here, and doing it the right way, making a coordinated effort to take care of these bluebirds. I didn't know anything about them. I just thought, like any other bird, they kind of fend for themselves, and I guess in certain situations they do, but here in the village, you really need folks like you to kind of look after them, right?
That we do, and it doesn't require a lot of work. It's probably one of the monitors does the par 3 course in an hour.
Yeah, not too bad. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate bringing us out here today and educating me and educating everyone else about the importance. You've been hearing a lot about this, and now you kind of know what it really is about. Danny, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken, very much.
Hiring a realtor you trust is the first step in selling your home. Selecting an escrow company that can safeguard your money and personal information throughout the transaction is the next step. Escrow Options will guarantee the safety of your personal information and funds from the risks of wire fraud and cyber theft. Choose the escrow company that works for you. Escrow Options Group, protecting consumer assets in escrow since 2005.
I've been with Clear Choice about 6 years now. I have my wife sitting next to me. She was tired of me saying what all the time, and that's when we sought out a hearing specialist, and we fell in love with Clear Choice right away. The hearing aids work great. I gave them referrals. My son's got hearing aids from Clear Choice. My neighbor's got hearing aids from Clear Choice. And in my mind, Clear Choice should be your #1 choice.
Come in to one of our locations for a free hearing evaluation. Clear Choice Hearing Aid. Hear better, live better.
I started Sterling Financial under the premise that there was a need for integrity in this industry as well as quality service.
There's such volatility in the stock market. One day it could be up 100 points, the next day it could be down 500 points. Well, what we like to do is be able to have people go to bed and wake up the next morning knowing that their money is safe and secure.
That's what we try to do here at Sterling Financial Advisors, is to create peace of mind and quality of life in retirement.
And welcome back. Hey, first I want to mention that we've been very, very lucky here by once again having a great couple of interns these past couple months, both Devin and Erica. And Devin ended his internship the other day. This is Erica's last day here. And I got to say, the interns that we have been getting primarily from Fullerton, Cal State Fullerton, have been just excellent. They are a joy to work with, and Erica brings us cookies all the time. So that's really nice. But I wanted to really say thank you to the both of them, and it's been a pleasure. We always miss them when they have to leave and move on, but we certainly hope that they had a great experience here. And I think we're going to be getting a couple more interns coming up as well. All right, so now I'll tell you about our movie. And our movie today is based on a true story. I'm sure a lot of you remember the incident at Chappaquiddick with Senator Ted Kennedy. This happened back in 1969, and of course, his car went off the small bridge over Chappaquiddick, the stream or river that goes through there. And he had a young campaign strategist in the car with him, and she unfortunately drowned in that car. And of course, this movie has to do with everything that goes around with that. The political strategy by the Kennedys to kind of spin this, to find out what kind of really happened and see what they wanted to keep quiet and whatnot. So this movie was out not too long ago, and we're bringing this to you today. Not a real long movie. It's only 101 minutes. It's rated PG-13, but of course based on that true incident. Chappaquiddick today at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. Now, our movie for Monday is a very different movie, Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. And this is about, this takes place, by the way, in, I believe, 2045, when the creator of a virtual reality world called Oasis dies. He releases a video in which he challenges all the Oasis game users to find his Easter egg, which will give them a fortune. And what's really neat about this movie is that it gives references, many references, to a lot of the Steven Spielberg movies that happened over the last several years, really the 1980s. There's the DeLorean right there from Back to the Future. So, by the way, I think even that character you just saw, that animated character, is from one of the Steven Spielberg movies. So it's really kind of interesting, a lot of references here, and a fun movie. You know, if you like this kind of sci-fi kind of stuff, I think you will really enjoy this. Ty Sheraton is in this, as well as Olivia Cooke, and of course, again, it is a Steven Spielberg movie. So we bring that to you on Monday. Now, I want to tell you about, you know, the elections are coming up for the boards for United and Third, and now is the time to get on board if you would like to put your name in the hat and make your application for these boards, for the vacancies that will be on them. This one, the first one we're bringing up, is the dates for United, and of course all this is online, so if you want more details about this. But the nominations close, you know, August 10th for United, so there's your date. You want to get all your statements due and everything in by that date. Now here's Third Mutual. There's the nominations close on August 15th. So those are the 2 dates coming up you really want to pay close attention to if you would like to be considered to be on these boards. And of course, this is an open election. They aren't replacing somebody who left the board. This is the open election season for the boards. So that is coming up very quickly if you'd like to do that. Also happening very quickly, by the way, I want to tell you that you want to get down to Laguna Beach, very easy. And this is on the weekends only. This is a free bus service through, it's called the Laguna Beach Summer Breeze through the OC bus system. Where you park on this, by the way, is off, you know, where Quail Hill is, that area there. It's a Laguna Canyon Boulevard. And right about where the 405 hits the 133, that goes off towards Quail Hill. And there's a whole open area. You may remember they often do events there with big tents like Cirque du Soleil and that kind of stuff. But that's a parking area there. They come and pick you up. It's totally free. It's only on the weekends. You can find more about that by going on the Laguna Beach website, and they'll have that there. Now the weather, I told you in the next few days, it's going to be pleasant out, pleasant for this time of the year, because we're going to be right where we should be in the mid to upper 80s. Then we get the heat back on, coming on Monday into next week for a few days. Probably at least 3 or 4 days, we're going to be back up in the low 90s, unfortunately. So enjoy this. A little bit of haze out there. You saw we're getting a little bit of the clouds overnight, so really nice. Quick travel note there, as I have there, all the roads into Yosemite right now are closed because of the fire that's there, but mainly because of the smoke that it's causing. So Yosemite Valley is totally shut down right now. So you have plans to go up there, please go to the National Park Service, Yosemite. Actually, I think Yosemite is actually California Parks, but no matter, find out what you can do about that, because they are closed down. All right, on Monday, we're going to get an update from Third, also Breastlink, and the towers. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.